Okay, so what you want to do is just begin to settle and get yourself into a comfortable position physically. And there should be no sense of hurry or rushing into this. You're just taking your time and settling into a physical position where you feel like you can rest for 20 or 30 minutes attentively. And the mindset as you do this is that you have already set your intention to place yourself in a receptive state of being to receive God's grace. And so God's grace is already now shining down upon you. And even as you sit more casually, maybe you haven't even closed your eyes yet. And yet there is this sense that God's grace is shining down on you and you're beginning to receive it. And that means it has already begun its work of settling your nervous system and settling your mind and settling your state of being. And that you are already, even before you've begun any formal practice, you've already placed yourself into this grace. And maybe if you just take a minute to notice that, you can feel that subtle cloud of power that has surrounded you and that is shining down upon you, that is already having its effect inside of your soul. And you can take a moment now, even with your eyes open, maybe just stare at a piece of lint on the floor or a spot on your pants, or perhaps you could just unfocus your eyes and so that everything goes out of focus, and you could just pay attention to the fact of God's presence dwelling in the room that you're in. The fact of God's presence dwelling in your skin and in your bones. You might even notice the fact of God's presence dwelling in the empty spaces in the air between objects. That there is a subtle quality of holiness, of presence, that's already there. And you could just begin to, even though you have not formally begun your meditation, you could just begin to notice that. And rest in it. And begin to bring your attention and your awareness more inward and downward into the self. You could notice the subtle effects of God's presence in your muscles, in your forehead, your nose, your brain. Feel that warmth and that heat in your hands, in your feet, throughout your whole body. Just dwelling there as you rest. And then maybe now you could just gently close your eyes and gaze into that space where God dwells. And you could take a moment now and, as sincerely as you can, give God permission to dwell inside of you. Give God permission to dwell inside of your brain. Every neural pathway, all the hidden places, and to do its will inside of your brain. And have access to all of your thinking, all of your thoughts, all of your opinions, and to change you in any way that it chooses. And you would give that same permission for God to dwell in your body, in all of your organs, your blood and your bones. God's power has permission to dwell inside of your body and to bring you healing and transformation. To affect all the places where you hold wounds and pride. To heal and remove all of that. And to generally do its will inside of your body. Whatever that might be. And that you give God permission to dwell inside of your heart, in your emotional center, to work and do its will inside of you. and to change and transform you. All of your emotions in whatever way it chooses. God, we invite your presence to dwell inside of our souls, to dwell in our body, to dwell in our heart and in our mind. We give you all of this completely to do as you wish. We come to you for healing, and we come to you for transformation. Your will be done inside of us. And we ask also that we might come to know you, that we might come to love you, and to experience your presence in our lives. Now just allow yourself to be touched by God's presence in this way. And begin now to let go of thinking and praying. Begin to relax your body. You can now repeat your sacred word or phrase slowly, over and over, as a symbol of your intent to give yourself over to God completely, to be transformed by God completely.